To make a quick video regarding a friend of mine, Mango Wodzak. I learned today that he unfortunately passed away up in far north Queensland. His partner mentioned that he had some issues with his liver and some clogged arteries, apparently. Many speculation out there on the internet. I've known Mango since I think we first met was in 2006 in Thailand. We went on a durian safari together, and we would, catch up for a few days and then go our way, and he would give me some great tips, and I'd give him some tips. And I was always on his back, though, about drinking water. He just I never ever seen him drink water. He would always be like, "You don't need to drink water." I'm like, "Dude, you need water." So I think Mango was a super friendly guy, super chill guy, but I definitely saw declines in his health not drinking water. Especially in Thailand where it's so hot. And he lived, he moved to Australia, I think it was 2009. Went to Sydney originally, and then he moved up to Mariba area, and he stayed with on a friend's property. It's a very small group there. Everyone knows all of us. Everyone up there, and it's part of that far north Queensland community. And a lot of people, unfortunately in that community, I would say, pass early from dehydration. I had a friend of mine, Rob Luckhart, a few years ago. He died not drinking water. So it's like, obviously fruit, life is good, but you still need water for what it's saying, and I just saw that with Mango. He had quite poor fitness, quite a poor VO2 max. And we know VO2 max is a huge predictor of health. If you have a low VO2 max, you really are quite vulnerable to many, many diseases. So, but the comment section's full of people's comments. Oh, fruit's bad for your heart, and blah 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 blah. Let's look at the facts here. Let's assume Mango was eating what he claims he was, just fruit. My question, I always ask Mango, I said, "You do these fasts and water fasts and stuff. Why?" Like when I was doing fruitarian, when I was just eating fruit, I wouldn't skip a meal. I was so hungry like all the time, because not all the time, but fruit just digests so quickly. So all the time, virtually all the time, I'm thinking about the next meal, and it's great because fruit just digests so quick, and just it's fantastic. It's great. I love my fruit days, but I prefer what I'm doing now. Fruit, starches, and sugars, way more energy, way more easy to do. And I'm like, Mango, why are you doing all these fasts and stuff if you're just eating fruit? I couldn't imagine wanting to do that back in my raw food days when I went on fast, because I was eating all these cashew butters and heavy raw gourmet stuff. And then you think about doing a juice fast or something, or just playing with that. So it's just this whole bad cycle you're in. So I was always curious, why would Mango want to do a fast? This is crazy. I can't believe I'm making this video, man. It's late night here, but I thought I'd get it out there. Rest in peace, Mango. Like, your dude was a chill dude. He was actually the guy who really inspired me to go vegan. Back in April 2001, I read an article Mango wrote in a magazine publication from Byron Bay, Nimbin, North Coast, New South Wales, called Vegan Voice. I don't know if anyone remember Vegan Voice back in the day. Great magazine. But that magazine, I picked it up at Clearlight Cafe down Rundle Street when it was there, over 25 years ago. And I bought the book. I bought the little magazine. I was reading that, and there was an article by a guy called Mango. I thought, Mango, that's a pretty trippy name. And he was talking about raw food and dairy, and I was like, this makes a lot of sense, So it was my first real introduction to raw food, and my first real introduction to vegan, that magazine. Probably still got it somewhere, and it's crazy. So then now Mango's passed away on the 25th of March, 2025. Rest in peace, brother. So Mango also inspired me. I was part of a documentary he was made about. They made a documentary about him and his partner, Kay Kveta, in 2009. It's called Pure Fruit. Go check it out. And you can see me in the video, in the documentary, giving Mango a hard time for not drinking water. Okay? Because his fitness was just so poor. And I'm like, bro, if you're on fruit, you're going to be flying, man. But you need water. Okay? So I would say even back then, Mango had some health issues. But it's just crazy how... It's crazy that this video's happening, man. This is not in real life. But we've got to make it. We've got to bang it out. I'll do more videos in depth on this. We'll get some more information. But people out there, don't get caught up in this orthorexic shit of not drinking water. All right, this is fucking late. It's got to stop. Let mango's passing be a reminder you need water. All right. And fatty liver or clogged arteries, what on earth was he eating? What on earth was he eating? You know? Because he didn't look like a fruitarian. All right? Like, he just didn't have that, you know, like, he was into cycling as well. You know, like when I was doing fruit daily, you just looked like you're doing something fruity, you know, like, so I don't know, but he was barefoot as well. And I'm always like, dude, don't go barefoot, man. Like, you step on shit and you can't really look up properly because you look on the ground for glass and stuff, so your posture's all cooked. And then it just reduces your VO2 max because you can't go hard because you're worried about stubbing your toe. And so I wonder what mango was eating to get apparently clogged arteries, and if that is that even the case? You know, do we have an autopsy report? What do we have? This is just hearsay, or what? What are we running with here? But another thing as well, I would say, this goes for everybody, is vitamin B12. Like, if you are, you know, anybody, you could be eating meat. Most of the B12 deficiencies we see today are in people who eat meat. So just because you eat meat doesn't mean you can't get B12 deficiency. But if you've got a prolonged B12 deficiency, your homocysteine levels can get really elevated, and that can have a negative effect on the endothelium cells, which can cause artery plaques to form. Okay, and they can clog and break off and cause a clot, a stroke, and a fatality or severe injury. So I do recommend B12 shots. If you're a meat eater, I do recommend them. That's just what I recommend. Or test your homocysteine, see where it's at. If you don't believe in supplementation of vitamin B12, and it's not a vegan thing. Again, because if B12 deficiency was exclusive to vegans, then only vegans would have that. But there's 0 diseases, 0 conditions that only vegans get. Okay, so what we do though is we have some purists out there who don't take any supplementation of B12, and then they get into some problems because they've got orthorexia or whatever, and then people blame the vegan stuff for that. And it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, look after your B12, people. Drink your water. Doesn't matter what diet you're eating. B12 is so essential. Okay. But here's the crazy thing, right? Here's the crazy thing. Someone who's, you know, eating an otherwise you know, healthy lifestyle, fruit based, etc., but not drinking water, bad idea. Not taking out for B12 injections, bad idea. I'm not sure what's Mango's doing behind the scenes. Who knows? But I'm just saying, like, it's just, what am I even saying at this point? I'll do more of a deep dive video on this one, just for quickly put it out there, because I know people are talking nonsense about it as well. But, you know, it's, yeah, just wrap it up. If Mango was promoting Big Macs and KFC, no one would be talking about the diet. But because he's promoting fruit, because he's against the establishment, and all of a sudden, they're going to make a fuss of what he taught, what he practiced, what he walked, what he talked, what he practiced, what he preached, what he wrote about. People are going to make fun of that, aren't they? They're going to critique that because he was anti-establishment. If he was an average bro, eating average food, doing average things, then we wouldn't be making videos about him, would we? So people are going to run with this for a while, but I'm going to say, I know what I do know about Mango. I wasn't with him 24/7. What I do know about Mango, great bro, chill bro, you know, good intentions. He didn't drink water. All right, that's going to cook your endotheliums. That's just going to be really, really bad. Your kidneys, it's going to be, you have a lot of inflammation in the body. Inflammation in the body is not a good thing. And then the other one I'd be questioning is, why not take B12 shots? Like, all Olympic athletes take B12 shots. Like, why wouldn't you? That's just my opinion. All Olympic champions take B12 shots. Yes, they do other things too, but I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying B12 is vitamin safe. Take care of that. If you have an elderly person in your family with Parkinson's or Alzheimer's or whatever, or mental problems, depression, get them on the B12 shots. That's just my recommendation. You do your homework, your body, your choice. Just saying. That's what I'd do. Regardless of what they're eating. If they're vegan, hardcore, if they're hardcore, eating a hyena diet. All right? Even hyenas get given B12 supplementation in zoos. Okay? Exposed to chlorinated water, etc., blah, blah, blah. So do not follow Mango's footsteps in orthorexia. Okay? You will end up off the deep end. Crazy, man. Crazy. Oh my, yeah. I'm a bit lost for words here, but I thought bang out a quick video. Drink your water, people. Alright. Mango inspired us to live a more sustainable lifestyle. He's into recycling and dumpster diving and overall just minimizing his footprint on the planet. But he got caught up in orthorexia, okay? And orthorexia was his downfall. Because when you're orthorexic, you don't look after your body properly. And if you're into extreme diets and stuff and calorie restriction, fasting, you're going to be binging on some nasty stuff eventually. So what was Mango eating, behind the scenes after his fast and stuff, when fruit just won't cut it because you're so hungry? So what was Mango eating? Yeah, maybe he did a bit of experimentation the last few years of just adding in animal products or whatever, and just didn't want to talk about it because his brand is fruitarianism. We don't know. We don't know, but he doesn't. No disrespect. No disrespect to Mango. He didn't look like someone who just eats fruit. I didn't have. When you just eat fruit, you have this certain glow about you, right? Especially if you live in far north Queensland, he doesn't have that. So I'm like, this is interesting, Interesting. But anyway, we'll never know. What we do know is orthorexia sucks, and starving yourself or fasting is generally an indication of eating some really, really bad things. Rest in peace, Mango. Bro, see you later in the movie. You are, a very big inspiration for me, and you will be, man. I'm going to carry this anti-orthorexia message for as long as I can. We've got to stop this, dry fasting or skipping water or just relying on coconut water or just relying on watermelon for hydration. It's got to stop, man. It's just absolute nonsense. It leads to really poor health. Mango, rest in peace, brother.